Hello everyone. My name is Aditya Marathi, and in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about what are data networks. Networks can be of many types. You can say it can be a wireless network, it can be a wired network. In today's lecture, we are going to see the another types of networks, which are data networks. And in this lecture we are going to cover this all topics. Firstly, we will check what are data networks, its definition, then the types of data networks. It can be private, public, and the security. We will first see what it means, security means, and then let's see the concepts about it and what are the attacks will be happen in that network. Let's first see what are data networks. As you can see, the data network is an electronic communication process that allows for the orderly transmission and reception of data, such as letters, spreadsheets, and other types of documents also. And what sets the data network apart from other forms of communication is it is such an audio network. Is that the data network is configured to transmit only data, nothing else. Only the data is transmitted through this network. Okay, this is in contrast to the audio or voice network, which is often employed for both voice communication and the transmission of data, such as facsimile transmission. So this is what a data network is. So let us see what are the data types, what are the data network types. We can have two types of data networks. The first type is the private network. The private network means this is essentially a local network that is designed to allow for the transmission of data between the various departments within a given entity, such as company. As we have seen, that public network means anybody has an authority, or any unauthorized person can access it without any login and password, without any authentication. But in this private network, the network is locally hosted within a company, it becomes privately held. All locations of the company may be included as node on the network, and be able to communicate through a common server that functions as a repository for any and all data files that are used throughout the businesses. There are also some of the examples of private data networks which allows data sharing between several companies that are part of some profession or industry. We can see connection of this type of network can be achieved through the creation of a virtual private network, or VPN, that resides on master server, or by providing the connections through a communication carrier. So let's see what is another type of network, which is public network. The public network is in which anybody can access. It is widely accessible, contains utilization of multiple servers and third-party services. Anybody can access without any authentication. The setup of a public network may involve the utilization of multiple servers and connections to the network through several different processes. Often, a public data network will require some type of the subscription process, such as monthly users fee. You can take an example of AWS services, which gives us monthly users fees. Upon receipt of the fee, the service provider will allow the creation of access credentials that will allow the consumer to access authorized portions of the network and engage in several functions commonly involved with data. This is what the public data network is. The next, we will say what are the security purposes used in what you can say in data networks. Let us first talk about what is network security, what it means. We are watching it is security, but let's first understand what is network security. In the field of networking, the area of security consists of provisions and policies adopted by the network administrator to prevent and monitor unauthorized access, misuse, modifications, or denial of the computer network and network accessible resources. And it is controlled by network administrator, and it secures the network So network security invokes the authorization of access to data in a network, which is controlled by the network administrator. Network security covers a variety of computer networks, both public and private. The network can be a private, such as within a company, which is a private network, and others which might be an open to public access. Both need security. Network security is involved in organizations also, enterprises and other types of institutions. It does as its title explains. It secures the network as well as protecting and overseeing operations being done. So what is basically the concept behind this network security? The concept behind this network security is that it starts with the authenticating the user. Whenever we start using any services, there is one authentication. For example, you have to enter their username and password. So using this authenticating credentials, you can access that service. So security starts from this. Once authenticated, a firewall enforces access policies such as which services are allowed to that user, particular user. For example, if you are not an admin, you will have limited services available, and if you are an admin, you can access each and every services. Honeypots are some of the things which may be deployed in the network as surveillance. It is something like a CCTV surveillance in the network. Techniques used by the attackers that attempts to compromise these decoy sources are studied during and after an attack to keep an eye on new explosion techniques. Such analysis may be used to further tighten security of actual network being protected by the honeypot. So let us see. This is what network security is. But network security is challenged when someone attacks our network. So let us talk about what are the attacks. So there are two types of attacks we can see. The first one is passive attack. The second one is active attack. So let us talk about what are passive attacks. The passive attacks, which are those which does not change your data or the data which is transmitted through one host to another host. It just monitor it. So one of the example of a passive attack is wiretapping. Wiretapping is done mostly on telephone conversations or internet-based conversations. For example, video chat or voice call. So what wiretapping does is monitoring of telephone and internet-based conversation by third-party services. So there can be two types of wiretapping, which is one passive wiretapping is there, and then another one is active wiretapping. So what passive wiretapping? So passive wiretapping uses means it allows the third party to monitor or record the traffic which has been held in the communication between two telephones or two internet-based services. And what active wiretapping does, it can alter the data or affect it. The second one is post scanner. That is, post scanner is an application designed to probe a server or host for open ports. Such an application may be used by administrator to verify security policies of their networks and by attackers to identify network services running on a host and exploit vulnerabilities. So this is what the port scanner is. The third one is ideal scan. The ideal scan is a TCP port scan method that consists of sending spoof packets to the computer to find out what services are available, what are not. This is accomplished by impersonating another computer called a zombie. The zombie means that it does not transmit anything, or it doesn't receive anything. Neither transmission nor receiving of the information is done in zombie services, zombie computer, and observing the behavior of the zombie system. These are some of the passive attacks. There are a lot of passive attacks, but I just mentioned these three ones. So these are the main passive attacks. So let us head over to the active attacks. So what are active attacks? So active attacks which can change the data, which can attack the data, which can remove the encryption of communication data. So these are one of the these are called as active attacks. So one of the active attack is DOS attack, which is also called a denial of service attack. A denial of services attack is a cyber attack in which the perpetrator seeks to make a machine or network resource unavailable. So in this attack, what happens? the another host or device which has been used is out of the service. For example, if you have a client and you want to access some services from the server, and if you are sending requesting for the messages, so what happens? The server is unavailable for you. This is called a denial of service attack. The second one is spoofing. Spoofing means it is an attack, and it is a situation in which a person or a program successfully identifies as another by falsifying it. If you send them a false data and but it recognized as a true data, and this is one of the very vigorous attack. The next attack is SQL injection. The SQL injection must exploit a security vulnerability. In this SQL injection, the security vulnerability is exploited, and for example, we can say that when user input is either incorrectly filtered or string little escape character embedded in SQL statement, or user input is not strongly typed and unexpectedly executed. This is one of the examples for SQL injection. The next is man in the middle. The name suggests that man in the middle means there is an attacker secretly relays and possibly alters the communication between the two parties who believes that they are directly communicating with each other. So these are some of the active attacks which I discussed today, and uh, and that's it for this lecture. Thank you.